That turned out pretty cool. Man, when I watch that, I think, holy smokes, I got a lot done in the last year. Hi, folks. My name is Sean. Sean in Alaska. It is awesome to see you guys here with me again on this Sunday. Sitting up in the loft, and the little thing down below says that it's 73 degrees inside, and I might have to update it because the temperature just keeps going up here. Here's uh, the current temperature right now is 73.5 degrees upstairs in the loft, and it just keeps getting warmer and warmer. I like to say hi to everybody. So I'm going to jump back up to the top, scroll my way back down. I'm just waiting to see if audio and video are okay. Joe says, great looking new intro. Thank you, Joe. Much appreciated. Vapor barrier. Yep, behind me. Okay, so apparently the video's there. Now I just need to know, is the audio there? And then I'll jump back up and say hello to everybody as I saw them popping in today. Perfect. Joe says 5x5. That'll work. Let's jump back up to the top here. Here's how I like to do it. I like to say hello to everybody that is in the chat. And if you've got a question, leave it in there. If I miss your question, don't hesitate to ask it again. If I did catch up to it and I've already answered it, I'll just ignore it the second time. And if I've missed it the first time, do me a favor and put it in caps, and then that way it'll jump right out to me. While I was sitting in here today, I saw JD from SC was one of the first people in here. JD, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Joe Montano, glad you could make it as well, Joe. Super cool to see you here. Charles and Anna Lynn from the Philippines, glad you guys could make it today. Jim at Woolly Rhino Adventures. Jim, I know this is your first winter over in at your place here in Alaska, and this is not normal for January. We are not normally this warm. It's crazy how warm and nice the weather has been. Or pulled over on the side of the road to watch the live. You're a trooper, Art. You're a big time trooper. Jerry, Canadian, good to see you, my friend. It will be the second best live stream ever, right behind your live stream. So, yeah. Right, Russell? Russell from Raspberry Rock Off Grid. David Evans, good to see you. Live from Florida. Here he is. Mike, how you doing at Alaska's Last Frontier Homestead? Good to see you, my friend. Somebody says, hey, Ward. I don't see Ward. Hey, Todd. Oh, Art's just saying hi to Ward and saying hi to Todd. Neither one of which are here today. Thank you very much for that. If you do hit the thumbs up, it tells YouTube, hey, this might be interesting. Let's share it with other folks so it doesn't hurt the channel at all. I appreciate every thumbs up I get. Ginger, good to see you. Hello from Northern Indiana. Snowing here today, huh? Not here. We do have snow in the forecast for tomorrow, but we actually have temperatures forecasted for the next week in the mid-30s, and I'm looking forward to it. I have no problem with that at all. Alan, how you doing, my friend? Rainy and chilly Central North Carolina. Jeanette Jacinto, good to see you. Glad you could pop in. Thank you. It is just incredibly beautiful here. I was going to try and open up the windows, but they're kind of frozen because I've been running the heater in here, and there is a lot of moisture, obviously, in the cabin, right? So because it did snow and rain and do everything else on it before I got the roof on it. So I get it warm, and at a certain point of the day, I can actually get the windows to open, but we're not there yet. I ran out of propane last night in this cabin. So because of that, the temperature dropped this morning and everything froze back up again. But it heats up so quick. It's crazy. It is crazy. Wendy Benjamin, glad you can make it. Good to see you from Nova Scotia. Awesome. Miss Karen, how are you today? Glad to see you. So yeah, Joe mentioned this on the intro. So I've been telling you guys for a couple of weeks I was going to do an intro on I was going to change the intro from the one that I had from last year's lives. And so today, Brother Will was over for a bit, and I was in the middle of editing, and I got all that done. And I kind of like how it worked out, man. When I watch that, I go, holy smokes, I got a lot done in the last year. Sometimes it feels like I didn't get much done at all, and it can be very, very frustrating. But I really feel like I got a ton done, especially after watching that video. That was super cool. David alluded to vapor barrier, so I'm going to spin the camera around right now and show you guys exactly where I'm at. I started this last week, so anybody who gets on the live gets a 100% right where we're at right now look at everything in the cabin. So let me grab the camera here. So as David alluded to, I've got vapor barrier, got it up on the ceiling. I've got it back on the wall, and this entire wall behind me is done on the upper part, 100% all the way around the cabin. I'm going to spin it for you now so you can see. Right, vapor barrier there. I've got it taped all the way off on the only seam I have on the entire ceiling. And then I do have a little bit more. I'm going to go finger in here. There it is. Where this one stops here and going down to this side. Yeah, going down this way. I do have to tape off a seam that's right there. So basically, I am down past the entire top part of the roof. And that means that I could do everything I need to do using the small set of scaffolding, and the big scaffolding is out and will be out for the foreseeable future. So yeah, super, super exciting. I'm going to get the rest of the vapor area done this week. But one thing that I've noticed is as I keep warming up the cabin, there is moisture inside, and that moisture is melting and it's releasing itself. And so I've got to like open up windows and dry it out. And since I'm going to be working here quite a bit this week, I'll probably pick up a dehumidifier, bring it in here as well to get the humidity down. It's better today. Yesterday I was at, 65, almost 70% humidity. And right now I'm looking at 54% up here in the loft. So it just keeps going down and down every day. But I want to make sure that I have a lot of that out of here before I seal the bottom of the vapor barrier. Warmer there, warmer here, definitely, of course. Me and you Acres, how you guys doing? Good to see you. Camp Bell off grid. How are you today? Good to see you. I got everybody saying hi. Camp Bell, love the hat. This hat is probably 45 years old, maybe 50 years old. I got this from my grandfather when I was a kid. And somehow my brothers and I all got one, but somehow I managed to hang on to mine. It's pretty ratty, but it's been to Ireland, Mac. That's all that matters, right? Donegal tweed. Whiskey Harbor, good to see you. Glad you can make it today. Kristen, good to see you as well. I hope all is well at your end. I'm just scrolling through right now trying to get caught up because I know I'm a bit behind here. And CV, I'm 10-8 and 10-10 on the side, right? God, we just dated ourselves right there, Jerry. Back in the days when CBs were, everybody had them. They were the rage. Destiny Fitzgerald, good to see you. Liking the hat. How's the kilt commando today? Doing good. The kilt is about to make an appearance back in the videos again. Now that I'm done climbing up and down scaffolding and all that, I'm going to dust the kilt off and get it going again. David, everybody's saying hi. Morton, good to see you from Norway. Very awesome. Sherry Russell, glad you could make it from snowy Vermont. You guys get a lot of snow. You guys get more snow than I get. Valdez here in Alaska is a place that just gets hammered with snow every year. But generally speaking, what I have on the ground right now is I mean, I might get another foot on top of it, so I might end up with 3.5 or 4 feet max. But I imagine you guys could get that in a storm out there. I'm looking through all the comments here. Michigan Daffodil, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Matt AK, good to see you, my friend. Now I have to go back and watch the new intro because you missed it. I will play the intro at the end. So when we get to the end of the live, if you got here late and you didn't see the new intro, I'll play that as we go out at the end of today's live chat again. So Destiny, so Sean, are there any issues with a hot roof? Sounds like the way to do a roof for an off-grid cabin. So the term hot roof pretty much came to me from Ward. And as far as the way that I describe it is it's a non-vented roof. It's super simple to do, but depending on the type of cabin you're building is whether or not you would even want to do something like this, right? So a cold roof, a good example of a cold roof would be MBF Mapleberry Farms just built their place. And basically they have the ceiling, they have the insulation laying on top of the ceiling, and then they have a wide area of airspace, and the roof comes down and it's vented on both ends, and it's vented at the soffits. Because I have no area between the rafters, because I have an open beam ceiling like this, or an open ceiling like this, I have nothing. I'll spin the camera around here. It's a good example. So all I have is eventually it'll be wood on the outside, and then vapor barrier, insulation, sheeting on the other side. Then there'll be some additional barrier on top of that, and then the metal on top of that roof. So I mean, time will tell. One of the comments I keep getting is that, it's a mistake. I'm going to have a nightmare with it when it's done. If I do, I'll definitely let you guys know. But um, the only way I could describe it is it's a non-vented roof, and that's where Ward says it gets the term hot roof from. Remy at Rem's Family Farm, good to see you, my friend. Ward, just talking about you, man. Art says hi. Scrolling down through here. Sunshine, good to see you. Glad you could make it. How do you like our winter so far? I'm loving January. We only have like a half a month left, right? February is like a half month. And then we start seeing warm temperatures. I'm excited for garden and everything this year. I'm excited to do some stuff outside this year. Destiny says respect. That's a lot of hard work, but it's all worth it. Damn, that ceiling must have taken a moment or two. Actually, I did have help with Todd. Todd came over because stretching the vapor barrier from this side to that side was a whole lot easier with two people than it was going to be with one. Now, the stuff on the ends and then the stuff on that end, I've done myself, and I'll finish everything else off myself too, because it's smaller sections and I can maneuver and handle that. But yeah, I would not have wanted to tackle that by myself. There's just, because I was on the scaffolding for so much of that too. Gil at Camp Panton Family Farm, awesome. While you're cleaning things up, good to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it. Joe, as I said in your Friday video, it almost looks like you know what you're doing. Don't ever think that I know what I'm doing, man. I am lost every time I start something. I was lost on the vapor barrier when I started this. But I'm learning, and to me, that's super awesome. If you can learn, anytime you can learn something new, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Ellen's got a question. Why'd you use face bats in the walls and unfaced rolls in the ceiling? Simple answer. I got the faced bats for half price. They were on Facebook Marketplace, and I ended up having to buy like 3 packages to finish what I needed to do. And those bats were normally retail for 99 bucks a piece. And I talked the guy down to $50 each for 7 or 8 packages that he had. So definitely it wasn't any thought process behind it. I went with the unfaced for kind of the same reason. I couldn't find, I mean, I was using faced. I thought I'll just use faced all the way. I couldn't find a faced R30 at the local orange store. So I just went with the rolls of unfaced. And it worked out well because each roll fills from one side of the rafter all the way down to the other side of the rafter. So there was no specific reason why I did it one way or the other than the faced bats on the walls were 50% off of what the regular retail price would have been. And they were brand new in the package still. So I miss Scotty. I didn't see him. But if you're here, brother, good to see you, Scotty. I know, right? A wood stove will solve the humidity issue. And right now we're at 74.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That is crazy, crazy warm. What is a good humidity percentage for inside a cabin? I don't know. I know you want some humidity, so when you're running a wood stove, you always have the pot of water on top of there, right? But this indoor-outdoor temperature gauge that I picked up at Freddy's the other day, it has a range from dry to comfortable to wet in it, and at 57% humidity looks to be right in the middle of comfortable range. And I will tell you that it's very comfortable in here now. I know that if you don't have any humidity in the trailer, when I have zero humidity because it's just a wind tunnel in that thing, what'll happen a lot is I'll put a kettle of water on the stove and boil some water up for some coffee or tea. And when that moisture hits the air, it actually starts to feel warmer in the cabin. So I think it helps with the warmth because it's carrying that heat throughout. But 57% looks to be right in the middle of the comfort zone, according to this gauge right here. Right down here in this bottom corner, see that little arrow? That's the comfort zone. So, but I'm not an expert. I don't know. I know what's comfortable. By the way, hi, Sean. Hi, Ward. Seed Marine, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I saw your brother Chris went out crabbing the other day and got himself some Dungeness and some red. Very awesome. Very awesome. Down there in California. Be Charming, how are you today? It's really coming along. It's really moving fast now. It's super It's super exciting to me to see how quickly it's changing every single day. If the camera shakes, that's just because my arms are on the table. I probably shouldn't do that. Okay, yours is about 20 to 25%. Do you have a wood stove installed already? Um, I'm I'm watching your videos, but I'm behind. The last one I saw was, um, I think you were installing vapor barrier, but I'm like I said, I'm pretty behind. Woot woot, Jay and Jen, how you guys doing? Awesome to see you. Hey, on your list that you're doing for what your projects are for this year, sometime in July, you need to include salmon fishing on the Kenai River in Alaska. I know a guy who's got a trailer you can stay in. I love wearing the kilt. I am a huge, huge fan of wearing that kilt. It's the most comfortable clothing attire I own by far. I get, I've, I get, I've never had a negative comment in public wearing it. I've had a few negative comments on here, but I really don't care. Destiny saying, "Can you drywall or finish a hot roof?" Yes, yeah. So my plan is wood. I'm going to avoid drywall anywhere in the cabin at all costs. There's a couple of places where I'll probably have to use it, but everything else will be a wood finish on it. I'm a guy. We like wood. Charles and Annalyn, what are my projects this week? The main project to finish this week would be to get the rest of the vapor barrier hung on the lower sections of the walls. And what I'm doing is I'm basically doing it like a roof. So I'm lifting up the plastic. I'm putting the vapor barrier for the next section down above the line. And so every layer is under the layer above it. Just seemed like the right way to handle it. But that's the main project for this week. Lindsay, glad you can make it. Awesome to see you. Yeah, you're catching alive, right? Very cool. Trail Camp Pete, good to see you, my friend. I caught that. I read Taiwanese. I do it myself. Scrolling through here real quick. Cathedral ceiling insulation is tough. There's many options on how to do it as they're air grain. Yeah, so that'll be in next week's video. So next week's video is finishing up the last of the insulation, and I'm done with it. But I was pleasantly surprised at how well the bats stayed in the ceiling. So the pink ones were super easy, right? Because I'm doing them over the loft, and they held up well, and that goes to a lot of the fact that every one of those rafters is exactly 16 inches on center. So it's a 14 and a half inch gap between them, and the insulation is 15 inches. So there's enough friction in that to hold itself up. But I was concerned because I had to switch insulation from the pink rolls to something different when I got further out. And I couldn't run the whole roll down and tuck it into the end and get it all done. So it was start the roll up on top, climb the ladder and put the roll in that bay, climb over to the other ladder and stand up and push it into the bottom and tuck it in. So it was a little more challenging, but it wasn't that hard. It wasn't hard really at all. It was probably one of the easiest parts of the entire project so far. The vapor barrier is more of a pain in the neck than putting that insulation in the ceiling was. Bob's Hope, good to see you from Minnesota. At least I won't have to fight ice dams on your roof. Exactly, right? There won't, and I will go with ice and water shield on the edges and on the bottom. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to have any issues with ice at all. Little Tris, how are you doing? Glad you could make it. It is going fantastic. Excuse me, and I hope your day is going good as well. David Briggs, it is 75 degrees Fahrenheit sitting right here in the loft right now. So staying warm. It's warmer right now all the time, pretty much, when I have a heater on in here in this cabin than it is in the trailer. So when I was putting that little intro video together, I had this sitting in there, and the temperature in the cabin was like 68 because it was coming up, and the temperature of this was 56. So it's already much warmer and much nicer. Yeah, exactly, Lindsay. Not even 40 below in Fairbanks. I'm kind of happy it's not a real winter because we didn't get a real summer, so I wouldn't think it was be fair if we got a real winter. And I'm not going to complain when we're not weeks on end at 20 plus below zero. Pete, my friend, good to see you. How you been, brother? Man, I'm behind here. I got to catch up. Rebel Canner, am I moved in yet? Not yet, but that day is coming very, very soon. And you'll know from a lot. You'll see it on a live before you actually see the video of me moving in. Look at that, right? The Central Sierra Nevada range near Tahoe has gotten 30 to 32 feet of snow. That is crazy. That's so I come from an area where I actually get more snow than we get here in Alaska, but it's a lot warmer here than it was in that, or a lot colder here than it was in that area. I am still staying in the trailer right now, and that's because I had the scaffolding in here. I just took that out yesterday, and back to the whole, if I start to move stuff in here, I'm going to be moving stuff every day. So until I get the vapor barrier completely done all the way around, at that point I can move in. But right now it just would be way too much of a mess. And then I'll probably use the trailer for storage for the rest of this winter and then get it off the property as soon as I can. David says 45% humidity is a good number inside. Okay, cool. You did a great job on your cabin. What do I win, Russell? Do you mean I might get done before you? No, I'm not going to put railing on anything. And then, you know, you and I will have the battle of who will be the first guy or the last guy to put the railing on. Big Bear, good to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Dude, really? I'm a Vikings fan. And I just want to state for the record that the Minnesota Vikings hate the Packers so much that they refuse to even win a Lombardi trophy. That's why they've never won. Doesn't matter what anybody thinks, but exactly, right? Exactly. If you're doing what you want to do and what you want to do makes you happy, do not let anything anybody has to say bring you down, man. Awesome. Steve, glad you can make it, brother. Saw you had bacon today. Pretty happy about that. When are they going to let you out, man? When are they letting you out? Oh, you've got a Toyo stove. I'm up and down about that. I really want the wood stove. I want to be able to sit here on a chair in the evening and watch those flames flicker in a wood stove. Mike McKinney, glad you can make it, my friend. How are you for now? I'm just going to watch your videos and not comment about anything. I apologize. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it at all, right? So I get frustrated with me too. I really do, Mike. And I appreciate when you leave comments like that. I appreciate it because then it makes me look and say, hey, wait, did I not give these people their due? Did I, you know, am I not conveying enough that I am a complete amateur at what I'm doing? So it takes me a whole lot longer to do what should take a normal person that does this for a living a day. You know, to insulate the whole inside of this cabin should have taken somebody who's done it for a living maybe a day and a half. It takes me 3 weeks. But I appreciate every comment and every time you let me know what you're thinking. Greatly appreciate it, Mike. Don't worry about it. Well, there's something you don't see every day, right? A Cincinnati team and a New York team playing in a snowstorm. Bettina, how are you? It's good to see you. I know, right? Awesome to have you here. Yeah. So I have done drywall before, but I've done it on remodels and I grew up in bakeries and my dad would buy bakeries and restaurants and we would redo the whole thing. So I learned a lot of that basic indoor stuff doing that. And drywall is the nastiest job I've ever seen in my life. And I don't want anything to do with it. And I think that wood is so much prettier. Grace, glad you could make it. Awesome to see you here. This is where all the cool people are hanging out. Awesome. Right? It's the devil, right? Exactly. That's a job you just hire out, man. You just hire out the professionals and say, just call me when you're done, right? Because they would do this whole cabin again in a day and everything would be taped and everything would be finished. And it would take Sean a month to do that. So Sean's not doing that. Not only that, but as we get to the point where summer gets and I could do the outdoor stuff, then all inside work will pretty much stop. Because I got a lot planned for this summer. Holy smokes. I, as a woman, hate wearing a kilt that not extra long. I don't know how the kilt is comfortable. I don't know. It's just the freedom in it is just incredible. I just love wearing it. I love wearing it. Another person who doesn't like drywall. Cecilia, good to see you. Awesome to have you here today. I hope you're doing well. And Jim's asking, am I going to put a ceiling fan in to circulate some of that heat air down to the lower level? Exactly. I'm looking right now at 12-volt uh, fans, and I'm probably going to put it like right where the edge of the loft comes up over that way, because that's where the biggest mass of air that's free that I can push down will be. Because underneath here, obviously, will be the bathroom, the pantry, the kitchen, and this will be all enclosed. So I am planning on doing something, and a 12-volt is kind of where I'm leaning right now, because I can run the 12-volt wires and not have to open anything up either. And the place is going to stay off grid. Oliver, good to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it. They are, right? Things are moving along great, and thank you for the comment on the hat. David Briggs, good to see you, my friend. It is. It's almost uncomfortable though now, because now we're pushing up towards 76 degrees. I'm just kind of curious how warm it's going to get in here today with the two heaters going. Matt saying all the cold and snow is down here, 10 degrees below normal all week and double the snowpack depth. Right? Exactly. You guys can have it, man. You guys can have all the extra snow and rain and snowpack that you want this year. Renice, good to see you. Awesome to have you here. Looks like I've lost weight. I have. But that's mainly because I haven't had a beer this year. The pants are starting to get a bit snug again. And for me, the easiest thing that I could do is just not drink any beer. So haven't had one yet this year, and boom, peeling off like nobody's business. The interior walls in our Vermont house were all vertical tongue and groove, white, 1x10 pine boards milled on site and kiln dried it to awesome. I wish, yeah, I already have a plan of what I'm doing for the floor and what I'm doing for the ceiling, and they're going to match. So the wood on the floor is going to be identical to the wood on the ceiling, and it's going to be identical in width and length. So it'll have some really good continuity looking down, looking up. And then I'm going to use a different wood on the walls to kind of split that all up so that it doesn't, so it's not all one solid, look. So it'll actually be pleasing to the eye when it breaks. David, I'm not setting the trailer on fire. I'm going to give it to somebody that needs it, man. I don't need it anymore. So I'm just I'll post it on Facebook Marketplace, or I've got a couple of viewers who are interested in doing the same thing and have spoken to me that they might be interested. And I'll make sure they get it and they can do the same thing in it. Jay and Jen, glad you could pop in. Awesome to see you guys. You guys are doing great things, man. Awesome videos. Love your channel. Love, love, love your channel. Russell, how's my firewood situation? How much do you have piled up? I probably have about 2.5, 3 cords right now cutting down, ready to go, which is more than I think I would need on an average winter, because I do run the inside of my place pretty cold to begin with, but I really won't know until I get a stove in here how much I'm going to go through. But I probably have another 15 cords to 20 cords that I'm going to be falling a great deal of it this summer, just in dead trees on the property. We have that bark beetle making its way through all of the trees, all the spruce trees up here, just wiping them out. So pretty well set for firewood, and will be as I keep going forward. So in Alaska, you're not keeping the trailer to use YouTube subscriber guest house? No. I have a motorhome too. But I'm probably going to get rid of that as well, because that's what I moved up here originally in. Pretty much, I've downsized most of my life for the last 10 years, and I don't see any reason to upsize at this point. Sean versus Russell, off-grid Kevin build. Oh, I must be behind. Vikings, yeah, I sent it to my daughter too. She loved it. She's a diehard Vikings fan, and she was heartbroken when they lost. That is a concern of mine. Once the cabin's livable, you slow down a lot. The nice thing is, though, that I need to keep doing something so I have content on YouTube. YouTube is my motivator, right? I'm like, I got to do something because I got to do a video this week. Great to see you too, or Bettina. Great to see you as well. I'm not going to wait that long. I'll have wood up on the ceiling and the walls. I'll have the floor done this year, more than likely. I before, even if I have to do it during the summer, but I'll have wood on the ceiling and walls this next winter for sure. Lupo, good to see you, my friend. From the Netherlands, cold. Yeah, you're chilly there. Holy smokes. Right, Lindsay? It can. Yeah. My main thing with drywall, though, is that it's just such a mess to install. It's such a mess. And it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like a cabin. Now, with that being said, so behind the shower in the bathroom, because I'm going to install a shower and a tub, I'll use the waterproof, the green board uh, drywall behind that just as a water barrier. And I might do it on the splash above the kitchen counter just because it'll be easy to clean. But other than that, you won't see it anywhere in the cabin. I've actually done that, Joe, and that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare. Again, one of the places my dad bought, my brothers and I had to go in and tear out a bunch of stuff, and I don't think I was clean for 2 weeks after that. It does, right? Wood doesn't just add a layer. Wood to me is cabin, and drywall to me is house, and I kind of draw the line between the two. Doesn't mean that if you have drywall in a cabin, like if my whole kitchen was drywalled, my whole bathroom was drywalled, but the rest of the cabin's wood. Wood says cabin more to me than anything else. Still scrolling through here. If I did not say hello to you, speak up. Glad to have you here. Awesome that you could join me today. Man, Lindsay, there's places down here on the Kenai Peninsula that are a lot of owner finance places, especially between here and Homer, with some pretty big pieces of land. I don't think there's covenants because that's a non-starter for me. I wouldn't have bought a piece of land that had covenants. Grandparents have one of those post World War II low ceiling homes, wood stove used once in the morning during winter. Exactly right. I've lived in some old houses growing up. Oh, I'm jealous. And if I had cedar trees, I definitely would get them. I would get at the least I'd get would be one of those Alaska chainsaw mills, and I would mill as much of my own wood as I possibly could. Um, I just think that cedar is one of my favorite woods of all time. I love knotty pine, but cedar is just incredible. Use cement board instead? Any special reason, David? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'll look it all up before I do it, but I'm kind of curious. And then I'm caught up. I'll have to message you to get the info on them if you're able then, Sean. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Look up, it's on Facebook Marketplace. I see them listed all the time, but look up MLS Alaska and you'll see a whole bunch of properties that are for sale by owner down on the southern part of the peninsula here, and anywhere from 5 acres on up, with some the the down payments are adjustable. The interest rate is based on the down payment, but the payments are all locked. I mean, it actually looked pretty awesome. Dan, good to see you. Glad you can make it today. I'm having a great day. You know what? Anytime you get here is on time, Dan. Not a problem at all. Was working 12 hours a day to get out of my camper and into the cabin. Once in here, I've come to a screeching halt. Look at the ceiling with the for those that don't know, I still work full time. So I'm kind of limited, and my schedule's really crazy, right? So let's start from tomorrow. So every Monday, I work lately because things have slowed down and I have a whole bunch of vacation time to burn. I'm only working Monday through Thursday. So Monday, go to town, do my job, hit the laundromat, wash all my clothes for the week. and pretty much done for the day by the time I get home. Tuesday, I get home, I'm editing video to go ahead and have something ready on Friday. Sometimes that runs into Wednesday as well, depending on if I need to film anything else, or if I have to go back and find something else, or how long the edit takes. Then by Thursday, I can finally actually spend time working in here. So Thursday afternoon when I get home from work, warm the cabin up, jump in here and do what I can before I have to call it a night. Friday, Saturday, pretty much working on the cabin the whole time. And then Sunday, run a couple of errands in town like I did this morning. I had to go get propane and fuel for the generator, and then live here. And so I'm not getting a whole lot done on the cabin. If I don't stick to a routine, then I'm going to be a nightmare. So I just stick to the routine, and it gets me where I need to be. But I completely understand how moving into the place will all of a sudden stop you. I'm not stopping, though. It took too long to get to this point. Okay, Leslie's saying mold prevention is why cement board. Okay, cool. Jewish Redneck Prepper, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here today. Tony, awesome to have you here today as well from Woodstock, Georgia. Very cool. All right, well, I learned something about cement board then. Okay, so behind the shower area will be cement board. All right, everybody's saying cement board. So we're just going to go with cement board. That sounds awesome to me. Oh, I missed the comment, Dan. Brother Will, yo, what's up? Karen, always asking me what's on the menu. So tonight it's probably just going to be soup. Maybe soup and a sandwich, or soup and toast. I'm going to go real basic and easy this evening. It's pretty darn nice to see me in here too. It's amazing to me. Especially, like I said, after the new intro and watching that thing after I put it together today, and then sharing it with you guys and seeing where I was, knowing where I was last winter, and thinking to myself, okay, this is the year I'm going to do it. And then actually getting in here within that 12-month period, amazing to me, just amazing to me. Yeah, there is a ton of land for sale in Nikiski. I don't know if I would look at Nikiski as much as I would look at Ninilchik. So Nikiski's kind of headed up towards Captain Cook State Park. I would go the other direction. Nikiski's not a real great area for people. Yeah, I would avoid Nikiski personally. Ninilchik is a whole different situation. That's pretty awesome down there. You're going to get a lot of wind down that way too. So Henry Leslie, Vermont, good to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it today. Frontier Preppers, hello and welcome. Glad you could pop in today. Soup, right? A good bowl of soup. There's not a whole lot of things that can beat a good bowl of soup. Maybe a ham hock and beans or something like that. But if it's just got to be soup, soup works too. You've got soup in the crock pot right now. Huh? Awesome. Very cool. Big Bear Prepper says, when you do solar, you put in a roof or freestanding? I think I'm going to do a combination of both. So the way the sun comes up during the summer here, right, is it comes up over here, and then it tracks over here, and then it tracks back around here, and then it tracks over here, and then it sets over there. So it's almost, we'll get to 20 plus hours of daylight here. So I want to optimize as much of that as I can. So I'm thinking I'll put a couple of panels out over here, put a couple on this side, a couple on that side, and maybe a couple on the front so that I could pick it up all day long. And then maybe eventually some freestanding too. I just don't know how big I want to make the solar system because I don't use a whole lot of power anyway. I'm getting old as much as I'm giddy about cabins. I'm looking forward to hitting a Caribbean beach in February. I couldn't handle the heat. Man. Thank you, David. I am. I'm very, very proud of what I've been able to accomplish with the help of the friends that I've had that have jumped in when I needed them. Super, super awesome. I'm a very, very lucky man. Russell, same thing, right? Super. When you're a guy, your menu could be, what do I want tonight? I got a can of soup. I got a sandwich fixing. Soup and a sandwich. There we go. Lone Wolf, glad you could pop in. Good to see you. I have some canned potato soup, and I have some broccoli cheddar, and so I don't know. We'll see which one it's going to be. Seed Marine says cement board, which is dusty when cutting. Try Schluter Curdy panels. Oh, really? I'll check it out. I'll see. I'll see what I'll do some reading up on it definitely before I get to that point. So this side of my cabin over here is southern exposure. So this is the south facing wall. But when you get this far north, um, it doesn't really matter which way you're pointed because when the sun's up there, it's up there. When it's not, it's not. So in the winter, it's so far down on the horizon that your solar is almost nothing. And then during the summer, it's so high on the horizon that it really doesn't matter where your house is facing. You're going to get sunlight all the time anyway. A great day. I'm definitely going to have a great day getting ready to watch Dallas and 49ers. Okay. The Eagles, my brother's, one of my brothers is just a huge Eagles fan, and I guess they just crushed New York today. I don't really watch football anymore, but yeah, it's when you're a fan, right? Joe's wife's chicken and noodle soup. It's what for dinner? Nice. Chickens and noodles. Beef stew. See, now we're on food. Somehow, on every live that we get on, we end up with food one way or another. There we go, right? I will do breakfast for dinner once a week. Always breakfast for dinner once a week. Take out food on a Sunday. Very cool. Homemade is so much better, flavor wise. But I'm kind of limited to what I can store. So when the canned soups go on a great deal, I usually stock up. I will. I'll definitely. I mean, basically, this is the cabin that YouTube built, right? I mean, everything that, other than having Ward to sound off on, everything that I've done here, I've pretty much learned on YouTube in one way, shape, or form. It takes time to use the heat. Some days I still have issues with it. Okay. In the summer, the sun rises in the northeast and sets in the northwest. In the winter, the sun rises in the southeast and sets in the southwest. Sam, how you doing, my friend? Glad you could make it. Oh, now that sounds yummy. That sounds yummy. Wait, where was that at? Did I miss it? Oh, here's where I missed it. Deer sausage and patties, or deer sausage patties. Yum, yum, yum. I cannot speak enough towards this. I mean, basically, if you want to learn how to do anything or you have a question on anything, and I learned this a long time ago when I first started using YouTube, somebody on YouTube has a video. It's crazy what you can learn on here. And then today, I found out that apparently the old New Yankee Workshop with Norm Abrams is now on YouTube as well. So you can watch all the episodes of the New Yankee Workshop. Before we went live today, I subscribed to that channel so I could watch Norm Abrams in his shop. One of my favorite shops, one of my favorite woodworking shows ever is the New Yankee Workshop. And I've got to build kitchen cabinets downstairs, right? Because I'm not going to buy them. They're way too expensive. And I'm sure Norm's got a video on that. But YouTube is a great learning resource. Bettina says, I use Schuler Curdy board in my bathroom too. It isn't cheap, but it's a great product, very lightweight, 100% waterproof. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to definitely have to look into that. Marunanda, glad you could pop in. Greetings from Los Angeles. Well, greetings from Funny River, Alaska. Terry Burns, good to see you, my friend. Glad you could pop in as well. Man, I went from being way behind, all of a sudden caught up. I like that. And it is 77 degrees up here right now. 77 degrees and 52% humidity. If I can work on getting that humidity down this week, I could close the rest of. I'm going to finish hanging the vapor barrier, but I'm going to leave the bottom open. And if I can get this to, that humidity down this week and get everything dried out, then next weekend I'll close everything off. But more than likely, I'll be sleeping in the cabin next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Brother Will's in here. After I get done, I'm going to head over to his place, catch a shower, and then load up a futon that he's given me, and I'll put the futon in here, and I'll actually have a bed to lay in here. So it is. That's where Norm Abrams came from. Norm Abrams came from this old house with Bob Vila. Well, I see this, Sam, so I don't know why you can't post anything else. I mean, I could see the smiley face that you posted, but I can also see this. So you've got 68.5 degrees and 21% humidity. Nice. See, I want to get that humidity down. What we get going on here? The thermostat at church broke. Auto wouldn't shut off. Got up to 75 by the time we turned the heater off. Oh, wow. We haven't taken a peek outside either. You guys want to take a peek outside? Oh, I just get tired of sitting down all the time. All right. Get that stuck in the claw of lightning. So still beautiful. Still Alaska. I did climb up the ladder and clean that window because it was just nasty. But I need to climb back on it again and clean the rest of it, and I need to get that window cleaned as well. The vapor barrier, I have this final board of my flooring where my floor of my loft's going to be, and I opted to wrap around that so that I could have that whole thing enclosed as part of the vapor barrier system. And then I trimmed these other pieces here so that they fit down between, and then I'll bring the other vapor barrier up to lock that in. If you look down in the corner down there, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is some moisture, and I think that is stuff that's coming out just because of the heat, because I've noticed, well, and I did have some stuff stacked against the walls. Right now there is nothing against the walls anywhere in the cabin so that they can get to the air. That's pretty much all I got on that end. I can sit down again. You guys like Tom Silva, right? Yeah, on this old house. So Norm Abrams actually was in the original This Old House with Bob Vila. Bob's master carpenter was Norm Abrams. So Norm kind of went his own direction, and then Bob kind of couldn't be on PBS anymore because he kept slinging hash for Craftsman Tools. So he started his own show. So he was taking PBS into a direction, the PBS show into a direction that was not supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be a commercially sponsored show. So that's why Bob Vila left the show, because of a dispute over the fact that, he was commercializing it too much, and it was supposed to be non-commercial, non-advertisement. And it was a walking advertisement for Craftsman when it was on. But yeah, Norm Abrams was his master carpenter. And the stuff the guy does is just incredible. I need to be 100% in the cabin. So yeah, I would like to get a pup. But I couldn't do it in the trailer. But definitely there'll be a pup on the property. Hopefully this year. That's kind of what I'd like to see happen. William, good to see you. And for me, it's actually an Irish Donegal tweed cap. There is nothing more beautiful than Alaska in the winter. It is so beautiful. It's just phenomenal. Every season in Alaska has something about it that is just incredible. So obviously winter, ice and snow. Spring, as the rivers all start to come up and as the streams, everything starts melting, that whole process is just gorgeous. Summer with all the high grasses and all the massive growth because of the unbelievable amounts of sunlight. And then the fall, as everything starts to change and leaves there is not a bad season in the state of Alaska. Not one. Genova, good to see you. Glad you could make it today. Yes, right? Bob Vila was and he was, I guess he was a contractor in his own right. But yeah, Norm was the labor. Holmes on Holmes? I've never seen an episode of that. But he was a builder too. So, but I'm like I said, a huge Norm fan. Dennis, good to see you. You're doing a great job as an amateur. I built 2 garages, and I'm an amateur. The second one was a lot easier and faster. That's kind of my thought. This is not the only build I'll ever do. I've already stated that I want to kick a bedroom off on the side here in the next year or two. That probably won't happen this year because as I get older, I'm not going to want to walk up the stairs. And I don't have stairs yet. I'm still climbing up here on a ladder. But with experience comes the speed and everything else, and you get more confidence and more comfortable doing it. And I think the next time I do something, I'll do a lot of things differently, but I have a pretty strong knowledge of the basics now that I did not have going into this. I had no knowledge of the basics going into it. Charles says the main thing you learn from Norm, you don't change bits, you pick up another drill. Oh, very cool. I love Aussies. I love Aussies, man. They are just. I'm leaning real heavily towards either Aussies or Border Collies because they're super smart, super loving dogs. They're just incredible. I wouldn't say breakup season is beautiful. Probably the only season. Well, yes and no, right? Because like I said, all of a sudden those rivers start to flow. The creek water's flowing I just think water flowing everywhere is beautiful. Waterfalls are incredible, but it is the dirtiest season, right? Breakup season is the dirtiest season in Alaska. Sam, I do not either. I could wire 110 all day long, I think, and I'm learning more and more about 12 volt. But you know, wiring a box, I'm going to need some help with that. I'm not an electrician. I know more about plumbing because I've done some different plumbing work in restaurants, running gas line, running water line, and that kind of stuff. But I have no knowledge whatsoever on electricity, so that's going to be a learning experience for me. They are, David, but they're also all the dogs that are super high energy. As they get older, they're once they hit like 3, they're still high energy, but they know how to mellow out. They're like a little kid going from ballistic to you can have them in the room with you. We had an icy before a current pop, and he was awesome. Oh, an Aussie. Friends that had collies, they are a little less intense. I'm not. No way. I'm not getting a sled dog. Those animals want to work, and they just want to keep going and going and going and going. If I get something, it'll be Aussie, Border Collie, English Collie, somewhere in there. It won't be like a Lassie kind of Collie, but it'll be Border Collie more than anything. The Border Collie stare is creepy. We call it the Velociraptor scare or stare. Nice, nice. Oh, I've had black labs, David. David says get a black lab. I grew up with black labs. They don't really do anything for me. My dad loved them, but they like to swim. They're a water dog, and these waters are not really for them to be out swimming in. Put antlers on them, call them moose. Nice. Madu has two huskies in LA. You got to have the AC on all summer long for those poor things, right? I don't believe that. I believe every dog reacts based on how you train them, and what you teach them is acceptable and not acceptable. So, I had a border collie before that was, I got him from my brother. My brother said that dog is completely spastic. Well, within about a month or two, he was the greatest freaking dog in the world because they're like a child. They have to learn where the limits are, and if you don't have any limits, they're just going to keep going, right? Same thing with Aussies, but they're super super smart. So once they learn, they don't forget, and to me, that is super awesome. Henry Leslie, have yourself a great week. Thank you for joining me today. Spaghetti and garlic bread. Ah, I love garlic bread. I love garlic bread. That's a big animal. That's more of an animal than I want to get. Cattle guard dogs like a Catahoula, also a neat dog as well. But again, I don't really need a guard dog, and a border collie or an Aussie will bark just as much as any other dog will. I'm not going to have a shepherd's cook, but maybe I'll have bagpipes or something. That would be cool. All puppies and all children chew on everything. Where's Matt's comment? There it is. Right? All puppies and children chew on everything. Madu says they stay outside under cover areas. Okay, cool. Get a St. Bernard and you'll always have a bottle of whiskey nearby. I thought they carried brandy in that little barrel under their neck. I'm more of a whiskey guy on my own, so I'd probably just get an Irish Wolfhound. Thank you very much, Russell. Awesome that you could stop by. We're getting towards the end here, folks. So like I said, here at the very end, as we head on out, I'm going to go ahead and play that new intro that I have again. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by. Thank you for watching the videos. Thanks for the comments, the thumbs up, and the encouragement. It keeps me going every single day, and it makes this so much more fun to do. I love sharing it with my kids. I love sharing it with you guys as well. It's just been super, super, super fun. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. So let's play that for you, and you guys will get it. Anybody who didn't see it, here's the new intro for the lives. I just put it together today. I hope you like it. It runs about just under 3 minutes long. Have yourself a fantastic week. If you got a dream and you think you might want to do it, chase it. You'll enjoy it. You'll never be sorry. Even if you didn't make it, you'll never be sorry you tried. Thanks, guys. Have a great week, huh?